All right, folks, the Live at a Dollar Podcast Network. We are live at the National. We have another big one here for you right now. We're live in Chicago for this big party that I am totally overwhelmed with walking around. And just so I found out 5 or 10 minutes ago, there's an upstairs that I have not been to yet as well. I had no idea
That's
about
new
that.
this year.
That's new, brand new to me in general. I had no idea that elevators or escalators even went up at that place. You hear another voice here, right here and now. Our special guest here, who, by the way, had one hell of a showing yesterday. And our boy, Nick Telford, has not been able to stop glowing since then. We'll get to that in just a second. Chris Costa is joining us here, co-founder, managing partner, Card Vault. If you know about Card Vault, of course, Chris and Tom Brady have a massive, massive thing going here in our hobby. Chris, first off, thank you for spending some time with us here. We'd love to have you here. And in all honesty, I'm sure you're probably happy to be sitting on a couch right now.
It is nice.
Minutes, right?
It is nice. Get the blood flowing back into the legs. It's been a lot of long days on the feet.
I could only imagine you've been. And listen, I know one of our guys, David, last night came to our party and he just said, I just came from the Card Vault grand opening at Wrigley Field. Bro, you guys are doing it big. We appreciate it as everyone else in the business. Did you think this would happen 5, 6, 10 years ago for you and your life at this point?
No, listen, I'm a collector, right? I've been a collector since I was a 5-year-old kid, and ripping packs in the backseat of my mother's car, and and then we fast forward to when we started Card Vault, and we opened our first shop at Gillette Stadium, and we thought, that could be a cool thing to do, right? Open a shop at a ballpark or a stadium or an arena, and then what could that look like if we did it at multiple locations? But never in a million years when we went on that journey did I expect to be partners and building this business with Tom. And being a kid from New England and born and raised in Boston and growing up and watching all the Super Bowls and by default becoming a huge Tom Brady fan, Tom became the center point of my life as a collector and as a dealer, right? Before Card Vault, I was setting up at this show, setting up in Dallas, setting up at local shows, and a main focal point of my business and my life was buying, selling, and trading Tom Brady cards. So it is surreal. It has become reality. So there is a little bit of that, but at the same time, it's always a pinch me moment when we get Tom out here and he's opening these stores with us and he's showing how interested and how engaged and how excited he is about our business. And that's the biggest thing that I'm telling everybody that asks, what's it like to work with Tom? What's it like to work with Tom? The coolest part is how interested, how involved, and how engaged he is. This isn't a spokesperson deal. This isn't Tom Brady putting his name on something. This is Tom Brady operating the business with us on a daily basis.
Investing on more of than a financial point in all this, because I see it too. For someone from the outside looking in, I get everything you're saying. But from someone outside looking in, Tom looks invested in it personally. Every time I see a video with him in it, he's looking for cards. He's talking about cards. You're right. This is not someone putting their name on a brand for a soda or an energy drink or this. He's truly invested, and that is so good for everyone in this hobby that guys are getting involved in this, especially when you're talking about not just an athlete, not just a really good athlete, the GOAT of the NFL, the biggest sport in the entire, basically for the American, for us in the United States, and he's fully invested. Chris, you did it. Like whatever
We're
happened,
doing it.
Okay, you're because I want you to get bigger. It's only good for us when you guys in the industry gets bigger as well, for all the breakers, for all the companies, for whatnot, for everybody at this point. But I got to ask you this. What was the vision when Card Vault first popped in your head? Like, what was your end game at that point, not knowing what it could be and obviously not knowing about Tom being involved?
I think the core vision for our business has been the same since day one. It was we wanted to create the next generation of the hobby shop, right? I love the local card shop. I love the LCS. It's where I grew up. It's where I built my collection as a kid. And I think it's super important to our industry, but we saw 5 years ago, 6 years ago, a gap. There was a need for something new, something fresh, something advanced, or something that had evolved from what I grew up in the 90s, right? And that's what Card Vault was really initially set out to do, was to tackle the next generation of the card shop. And then it started to become, the next generation of the card shop at every major ballpark, arena, and stadium. And that became our mission. And then, with some tweaks and some changes along the way, we now have this brand that we believe is going to be and is becoming the first national chain for sports cards, and a retail experience that still brings enough and packs enough punch to be a place a real seasoned collector can go and buy and sell and trade and rip packs. But it also doesn't take away from the fact that the LCS and the true LCS in the neighborhoods around the country still is going to exist, still needs to exist, and is something that we can coexist with.
Right, and I think that's so important because it was, like you said, I'm 46 years old. I remember as a 9, 10, 11-year-old getting $50 for Hanukkah, $50 on my birthday, my bar mitzvah present. I tell the story all the time, and it's one of the hardest stories I've ever told. Me and my best friend, Jared, growing up, huge card collectors. Every dollar we got, didn't matter what we did, went right back to the LCS, right back to our store that is a bike ride from our house. My best friend's mom said, at your bar mitzvah, I'm going to buy you something nice. I have 2 hands out. I was collecting the Dream Team rookie cards at the time. 92 Dream Team. I wanted all of them. In one hand was Barkley, Malone, Mullen, Stockton, and Pippen. And the other one was Michael. What do you think I chose?
You went with the volume.
I went with volume.
You went with
volume.
volume.
I took Mullen. I took Malone. I took Stockton.
How can you not at that time?
I didn't know about a PSA 10 that could be worth $1 million. I didn't know any of that. I took it, and that was great. I loved every second of it. One day eventually I'll get a Jordan rookie. It's not going to be that crazy. I'm not worried. Boy, was I wrong at that point. Right, here we are with my Stockton card, not even getting a full tank of gas at this point. But whatever. But the whole point was, that's how invested I was then. And now, all of a sudden, 13-year-old me jumping out of my skin thinking, I met Nick by accident, got into this hobby, and left sports radio. Really good job for this. And I'm not even looking back for 1 second because
it's a special industry.
Well, the evolution of this hobby and everything here, and seeing what this is like today. I've been to Radio Rows for Super Bowls. I've been to NBA Finals. I've been to Doral when it was Tiger and Phil on a Sunday, and it was the greatest day of golf I've ever seen. Let me tell you, this is right up there, and we're only in day 2, basically, or day 2.5 of what's going on here.
It's the biggest show we've ever had. It's definitely the biggest national, but I think, what's amazing is no matter how quickly and how much our industry grows, it still has the purity that makes it so special, right? So there's always the purity, and it doesn't mean that we can't innovate. It doesn't mean that we can't evolve. It doesn't mean that we can't have big scoreboard, sports book style scoreboards in our breaker arenas, and we can't have corporate setups and athletes in the room. We can evolve and we can continue to improve, but the purity is still there, right? You can still chase your favorite player, collect your favorite team. You can still bargain box hunt. You can still go after your favorite team in a break. You can do all the things that you've been able to do for the last decade plus, last 50 years plus, but you can do it in so many more different ways. And there's so many different flavors of how to experience this industry. And you get to pick who you want to be kind of your, for lack of a better term, your captain or your shepherd, right? If you think Nick and Grant are the guys that you want to follow and follow from a content perspective and follow from a breaking perspective, or if you choose to follow me at Card Vault and go down the path that we're on, so many different options. And I think that's what makes this industry amazing, and I think it's what also makes this industry so long-lasting, and it's what I think makes this place and what we're doing permanent. Not just permanent, but with such a liquid at the end of this where it's like, I can't see... What's it going to be? I can't see the ceiling, and I don't think we're close to the floor on this. I'm using card terms here. Yeah, I love it. I feel like the ceiling is so far away because there's so much more evolution to this of what can happen, what can make it bigger. Like you're doing with Card Vault, like guys are doing on the whatnot, wherever it is, Fanatics, whatever it is at this point, everyone's finding another way to make it a little bit bigger, which is great for this. And the one thing I've seen here, and I told Nick this also when I sat down with Nick for the pod, I'm looking around and I see the older guys walking around. No big deal. I see it. I see so many kids. Tons of kids. With briefcases full of cards. And I followed 2 kids around yesterday. This is not stalker talk, guys. We're at the card show. Because I wanted to see what the negotiation was going to be like. Oh, they're sharks. Sharks. Big time sharks. The kids are the ones to watch out for. This is what Nick said. That's who I'm scared of. Right. The 12 and 13-year-olds. Right. They know what they're doing. They know they're hungry. $150 for that card. They're not taking $135. And they know how to work a deal. Right. They know how to comp their cards quick. They know how to bundle a deal. They know how to do everything. So you got to stay on your game. All of a sudden, you see 2 to 4, 12 to 14-year-olds show up at your booth with Yankees, Red Sox gear, Mets hats. you're in for something.
Yeah, just put
You
your
gotta keep
seatbelt on.
you gotta keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, put
head
your
on a
seatbelt
swivel.
on, right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, future of Card Vault.
Yeah.
Where do you see it 5 years from now?
Well, I mean, we continue to tell people, and it's certainly our plan, and we've executed to this point. It's a store a month for the rest of my life. It's a store a month, and we're doing. I'd love to get to 100, and I know Tom certainly wants to get to 100, and we think, there's room for us to get to 100, and then we kind of reassess where we're at. Does this become, a multinational corporation? Do we have Card Vault locations overseas in the Middle East and Canada? But I think, what we're doing right now, we can continue to do for the next, we have 6 stores now, so that make it 94 more. We have, the next 6 stores mapped out for the rest of this year. We have another 12 stores at least mapped out, a little bit more softly for next year. And we'll just keep the pedal on the metal. That's the plan. So I see us as, becoming the true national retail chain for sports cards. You call us a national retail card shop.
Right.
NRCS instead of an LCS.
Right.
But I think that's where we're headed, and I think what's super important to me is that while we do that, we maintain the experience, we maintain the customer service, we maintain that hobby element that I think is so important, which is the purity. The purity of our industry is what's really important, and if we can maintain that and do that with the right people and the right process and the right mentality, Card Vault in every city in every state is okay by me.
Right. I was just about to say that there's one thing that you have going for you is outside of the fact that even you're partnered with Tom Brady, the vision I see in you, and now you're working with a guy that he can't be second place.
He's an animal.
It can't be second place. It's got to be the championship, the whole deal.
This
has got the ceiling. Like I said, I can't see the ceiling in this hobby. I can't see the ceiling for you guys either. Multinational, absolutely. International, all the way. Right.
You can see it in Nick, and you can ask him, right? When he met Tom yesterday, you see that laser focus that he always talked about during his career, that laser focus. It's not just a saying, and it's not just a joke. He shakes your hand, and he looks directly through your soul.
Right.
Because whoever he's talking to, whoever he's meeting, he's fully present.
Yep.
And he is talking to you, and he is engaged with you, and that carries over into business. So when we're talking about Card Vault and what we're doing and what our plans are, it's full focus. It's full energy, full attention, which is the craziest part of this whole thing that I think is the most unexpected. Did we think Tom was going to be a great partner? Yes. Did we think we were getting into business with the right person? Yes. But did I expect Tom Brady to be texting me every morning asking, hey, how were sales in this store? What was the crowd like? Do you think we can do anything different from a floor plan perspective? It's honestly insane.
2 more questions. I'm going to let you ride. First, what was the first text like from Tom Brady you ever got? What was your... Because I'm talking to 13-year-old Chris right now, whose hero growing up was probably Tom Brady, and now he just texted you the first time. I want to know what the reaction was like in your head at first. I want personal and then business Chris right here.
It's actually, you go into a full panic.
Yep.
It's a full sense of panic.
Great answer.
Because I remember it. It was after our initial meeting when we decided to start talking about what this could look like. What could Card Vault by Tom Brady look like? We came out of the meeting, and an hour later, I'm assuming he was on his ride back or heading to the airport.
Wherever, right.
And I get a text that basically, said, amazing meeting, so excited. I love this idea, and I love what you guys are doing. I want to be involved. And that's where you put your phone down and your heart starts racing, and you're just
racing.
You don't know how to react. You're like, is this? I want to react and jump for joy, but I'm also I'm scared of what I just read. It's scary. So that was the first text for sure.
I would just imagine the personal side was, I cannot believe what just happened, and the business side went, oh my God, this is going to work.
And then the business side was
work.
Oh, we're going.
We're full throttle at this
full
point,
tank of gas.
Right,
yeah.
that's it.
Full tank of gas.
There's no stopping now. There's no slowing down now, and it could only get bigger from here. Last one, I'll let you go. I need 13-year-old to 15-year-old Chris back with me for 1 second here. Biggest rip as a kid from wax that made you jump out of your seat or jump up and down? I got to hear it.
Yeah, biggest rip as a kid. Honestly, I wasn't ripping big wax. I wasn't ripping big product. I was chasing specific players as a kid. So
what was that
13, 15-year-old kid, I was chasing Nomar Garciaparra.
Okay, love it.
I was a Nomar Garciaparra guy, and this is like heyday of Nomar, Jeter, A-Rod, when there was a 3 shortstop, triple crown chase. Who was the better player? You had Nomar leading the league in batting. You had A-Rod leading the league in home runs. So I was chasing Nomar, and I remember when I pulled my first patch autograph of Nomar Garcia Parra out of Upper Deck, I started crying.
What a great answer.
Yeah, I started crying. So that was me. I was a Red Sox guy. So it was Nomar, it was Manny, it was Trot Nixon, it was Jason Varitek, it was, Petey when I was a little bit older.
Yep.
But those are the guys for me.
Fantastic answer. Great way to end this as well. Chris, I can't thank you enough. I've been looking forward to this since Nick told me you're going to come join me, because I wanted to hear the start of all this, how big you guys have become to all of us in this room right now. Everyone in this room knows about Card Vault. Everyone knows about your involvement and Tom's involvement. And everyone has to thank you guys, because that's going to help everyone else, like I said to you before, in this room. The bigger all of us get, the bigger you guys get, the bigger for everybody in this room, and the better this hobby is going to be. We thank you for it. And honestly, I'm jealous as you know what, that you get texted by Tom Brady. I'm a Dolphins fan. There was times where I didn't like that guy at all, but I will tell you, now that I'm in the hobby, I'm so happy he's involved. I'm so happy.
Well, listen, man, the backyard family's my family. I love Nick. I love Grant. I love the whole team. So I'm always happy to be here. It was great to meet you for the first time, and great to sit down with you, and hopefully we can do this many more times.
Anytime you want, you have a VIP seat here in Radio Yard.
You got my gold card.
You're in. And I always say this too, since we have the best setup in the house, you ever need 2 minutes on the couch, come by,
take a load off,
tip the hat down. We'll get you something to drink. You're good to go at that
point,
too.
We got a little VIP. Seats
Max
over
will
here,
get up for you. Don't worry. Max will get up for you at that point. All right, Chris Costa. I mean, literally, this has been one of the best that we've had here from Card Vault, talking about him and Tom Brady's involvement and what they're doing for the hobby, and obviously Nick Telford's biggest moment he's had outside of a wedding in the last 10 years.
His legs were shaking. Ridiculous.
He came over here to my social media group right here and said, "Stop everything you're doing. Let's cut the video up. Kobe, stop the podcast and let's go."
Smart man.
Right. Chris, thank you so much for your time. Chris from Card Vault's going to be here with us. This is a great one. Live at $1 Podcast Network. We're here at the National, live in Chicago for a couple more days here. Chris, can't thank you enough.
Thanks,
Have a great one. Be good. That was Chris Costa. This is Radio Yard and the Live at $1 Podcast Network.